Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and today's video is going to be kind of all over the place. We got a lot of stuff to cover, but to begin with, I hope that you guys will indulge me for just a second. I have something I want to show you. Now I know that the glare is going to kind of interfere with this a little bit, but I recently got this. And of course you can't see the bottom because it's going to curl on me. But what that basically is that is the entire classic World of Warcraft map. And that is, I have a spot already picked out where that's going to go. And it is, you cannot see it on the video, but trust me, if you see all those little things, that is all the detail. Every little thing you could think of is on those maps. And for somebody that's going to play World of Warcraft Classic, and this is on nice, thick poster paper, not El Cheapo, stuff. And I think I may hang this one. I actually have two of them. I may put the other one on poster board, on a foam board. So, thank you for indulging me there. Any of you that are old classic World of Warcraft fans will appreciate that, I'm sure, if you're planning on playing or not. Either way. Amazon, $17. So, if you're so inclined. Anyway, let's talk about a few different things. We're going to, first, let's just get this out of the way. I called it. June 25th of this year, I did a video about Loot Crate imploding. That's the way I titled the video. And what happened today? They filed for bankruptcy. I said it in that video, I'm not happy about it. I don't wish that on anybody. I actually liked Loot Crate. I was a big fan of theirs. I subscribed for a long time. I did all the unboxings and the whole bit. And I enjoyed the products at the beginning. They had good stuff. And then I noticed the decline, and I noticed their over-ambitiousness to have all of these specialty crates that they started branching out into. I mean, every kind, and they kind of did it all at the same time, and they just bit off more. You knew that they bit off more than they could chew. Anybody could logically look at that and say, hey guys, why don't you make sure that you're keeping your current customers happy and you're providing a good service and they're getting their money's worth and they feel like they're getting their money's worth and all that before you, and then maybe slowly start branching out and adding some additional products and things. But they just flooded the market with everything that they could think of. And it was not a recipe for success. And in June, it was already obvious that they were circling the drain. And again, I'm not happy about it, but I did want to say that and I'm sure I'm not the only one that predicted that things were not going well for them. But today they did file for Chapter 11, I think, is what it was. And we'll have to see what happens there. They have something like $20 million in product that they still have to fulfill. That they have crates and stuff they have not fulfilled. So, we'll just have to wait and see if people that I canceled, so they don't owe me anything. But and there was a rumor today. I don't know if it's fact, but that if you were still subscribed as of today, that people that were going then trying to cancel were having trouble canceling. I don't know how much truth there is to that. Jeremy over at the Quartering, if you follow his channel, he is generally a very accurate reporter about this kind of stuff, and that's what he was reporting. So I'm only mimicking that here. But if it's not true, then so be it. But just if you are a subscriber, you may want to try and get canceled. Anyway, let's talk about some gaming stuff. Let's talk about our first edition campaign that we run back here. Last Friday we had a big game. We had almost everybody showed up, which is saying something, because when we have a full crew, that table's full. That table seats 8. So we only had one open spot. So we had almost full attendance. And so that's a big game for a DM to run. And we had a ball, because if you've been following the story, and if you haven't, you can go back and watch the other videos where I talk about this. But I'll give a very succinct synopsis. Basically, our crew started out at the very beginning. We were hired by some wealthy socialite type guy, whatever, that baron or what have you, to find his daughter who had ran off with this guy, and they took one of his expensive coaches. They stole that as part of their getaway and everything, and they wanted us to find the daughter and bring her back, and if we could, bring back the schmuck who took her and everything. We end up finding the carriage. It's been waylaid. We find her body. The dude is nowhere to be found. There are monsters, these monkey-like monsters that are there, or at least one of them, and we bring that back along with the body of the daughter and the coach and everything. And then they send us back out and say, okay, now go find the schmuck. This is a very brief synopsis. I'm skipping over a lot of detail, but so we go back out trying to find this guy named Herbie. And we have been, in the previous weeks, we have been trying to hunt this guy down. And when I say guy, he's I'm guessing, if I remember correctly, I think he's like a 17-year-old kid. You know, I mean, he's not a 17, 18-year-old kid or whatever. And we've been trying to hunt him down. The wilderness is very unforgiving. Generally, in this world, the homebrew world of our DM, you generally do not travel outside of the cities. You take portals from city to city. They have an elaborate system of portals set up to do that, because it's so dangerous out there. But as adventurers, we brave the outdoor. That's what we do for a living. You know, for our bread and butter, we go out and brave the dangerous stuff. So we go out there, and in trying to find him, we have been searching through this cave complex, and we've been fighting all manner of baddies, orcs and gnolls and undead, and I'm sure I'm overlooking goblins and hobgoblins and you name it. And we finally, this last week, we got to the interior part of what seemed like, as part of this cave complex, as to be like a cultist compound inside. And long story short, we find Herbie. We kill the dudes holding him. He's all out of it, like he is delusional and malnourished and dying of thirst, and he's been tortured and all that. So he's talking gibberish and whatnot. So we realize we're not going to get any good information out of him like that. We try to get him, I'm the cleric, so I try to get him healed up to where, you know, we give him water, food, the whole bit, trying to get him to where he's more coherent. We have to end up taking him to an outpost, a guard outpost, where we try to get him a little bit more cogent. And we do, to where he can talk to us and explain to us that he was, you know, he doesn't remember a lot about the carriage and the monsters, and that he was taken and then he was tortured and all these things. But we do know that somehow, at one point, the guy who originally hired us, we had gone back to town and told him we hadn't found Herbie at one point a couple weeks ago. And he said, well, you almost had him, because I could tell you were very close to his soul. Whatever that means. So we put 2 and 2 together once we got Herbie, and we're like, well, somehow he's tracking us, and he's tracking Herbie. So if he knew where Herbie was all along, why didn't he just tell us, first of all? Or tell us that he had a way of tracking him, at least. And second of all, well, how's he tracking us? And so we figured out that somebody had placed a coin in my coin pouch that was unlike the others. And we decided that we're trying to decide, what are we going to do with this thing? Are we going to chuck it in the river? Are we going to try and set up a trap to see who comes after us? But we realize now that the coin and Herbie are together, that this dude, if he was just trying to close up loose ends, close out loose ends, we're loose ends. If that's what it comes down to, that he wants Herbie dead, and then he wants to kill us because we know about Herbie or who knows what. So I make the decision while they're all arguing at end, nonstop. I grab Herbie and I say, we're going to get out of this. I chuck the coin and I say, we're going the other direction. We're separating these. I just took charge of that because I didn't want to be there when this sorcerer dude, whoever it is that hired us, that can track souls and whatnot, who knows what manner of sorcery he can do. I didn't want to be there when he showed up or his baddies showed up or whatever. So we get out of town and camp just so we're away from the coin that I chucked. The rest of the party retrieves the coin, and they come and find me in our camp and say, look, we got to come up with a better plan. And the way we left it is we decided to put the coin on something that could float down the river, so that if he's tracking it, it's now moving. It's a moving target. Like, it looks like Herbie's moving, or that we're moving one direction and we're going the other direction. Obviously misdirection type of a thing. And that's how we left it. So a lot of the time we spent, a lot of it was just trying to come up with a plan of how we were going to deal with this. And before the sorcerer and the bad guys showed up and all that. So now we are heading into unknown territory, and we're going to just see what happens. That's why it's called adventuring. So that's where we left it off. So we had a ball. I think all of us are level 3 now. I was like the first one to hit level 3, but I think the rest of them have all hit level 3 now. And we're having a ball with that. So we'll be playing again Friday night. So there'll be another. I'll do another update about the campaign. I know a lot of you guys comment that you like the updates about hearing about the campaign and so forth. Of course, the other news is World of Warcraft Classic, which you guys have seen. I've put a couple videos on about, and it's going to be launching on the 26th, and all of us old nostalgic people are going to be playing it and so forth. So I'm looking forward to that. I do need to break away from it and play a couple other games and so forth to maybe do some reviews for you, whatnot, but that's pretty much it for this video, I think. The loot crate, classic, the poster, I had to show the poster off, the D&D campaign update, and I think that's it, guys. Now, I am getting ready to go into the end of summer. I'm a pool guy, and we have our shutdown at the end of summer, which is my hell week. So, like, I work 12 hours a day for 7 days, because I have to try and get like 2 weeks worth of maintenance done in 1 week, because we're only shut down for 1 week. So, I don't have any idea what my schedule is going to be as far as videos go. Don't know what to expect. I'll try to do what I can, but once we get into the fall, and I've already winterized the pools and all that, and then that's kind of my easy time. I can take it easy, so forth. Then I can do a lot of videos. I can do a lot of stuff. So we will catch you guys on the flip side.